Hello, everybody. Hey, welcome back, hopefully, to a Covenant live stream. We hope you're coming back because you enjoy everything that we do, and you're here for yet more of it. If you're here for the first time, welcome to you as well. We hope we're going to reel you in with this one and get you not only excited about EARTHBORNE, they just crossed 600,000 on their game found.
Congrats.
But get you excited about us as well. So what are we doing today? That's a great question. First of all, I know we kind of try to be a little bit low-key on the stream because everybody else is yelling at you 24/7 out there in the internet. But I am genuinely very excited about this expansion, especially because I was able to actually lay it out in a way that I could understand the content that is being offered in Stewards of the Valley. So we're going to show you that, and then I think we'll go through about half of the cards. I think we're going to do Talespinner and Spirit Speaker. And unless we get a tremendous amount of social pressure, we're going to cut it off there and then come back next week and do the other half of Stewards of the Valley so that we get to have another experience together enjoying the cards. I see that Andrew Navarro is in the chat, founder of EARTHBORNE Games. Do not forget how many, as much as we talk about Andrew, and Andrew's a longtime friend of ours, there are a number of incredible people who have made this game what it is today. And cheers to everybody at the team over there at EARTHBORNE. We do not say that enough. We favor Andrew, perhaps too much, because I know there's a lot of hardworking, super talented people that have made all of this happen. And I know that Andrew would say the same thing. So anybody out there on the team that's watching, y'all are killing it. Thank you for that. Can we do the overhead, Jonathan?
You know it.
Overhead, Jonathan, my favorite kind. All right, check this out.
Oh, wow, you can see my tea.
First of all, Zach and I have some twinnings.
Twins means.
Twinnings. The original tea, apparently.
That was my joke.
Yeah,
He stole my joke.
You made it happen. Okay, so here's what you need to know. This is the Stewards of the Valley expansion in its entirety. Now, whenever you create a character, you choose an. This is like in the sequential how to create a character order. So you choose an aspect, which is not represented up here, and then you choose a personality from the personality cards. So these are all new personality cards that you get in the expansion. Then you choose, what is this, the background? There's specialty. Then you choose the background.
Oh, you have your field notes. Look at them go.
You choose the background. So this is a brand new background in the Talespinner that you can choose. Or if you choose one of the original backgrounds, you get all of these additional cards for those backgrounds.
As options.
Yeah, as options. So it's about five each. Four, looks like four each.
Chris, you have it right. It is English breakfast tea.
That's right. And then once you choose that background, then you choose your specialty. So we have a brand new specialty, the Spirit Speaker, that you can choose. Or if you choose the originals, so that's the Artificer, Conciliator, Shaper, or Explorer, you have a new role for each. And then you have four cards. So 4 cards additional to the card pool. And I didn't look in the core set. Andrew, tell me this. Is the expansion content plus the core set content for each of these equivalent to the stack of these cards? Like there's what, 19?
Must be true.
There's 19 Spirit Speaker cards. Oh. So did we get 15 plus 4 in the expansion makes 9. So now all of these things are equivalent. They have the same amount of cards in the card pool.
That's my understanding.
That's pretty cool. That's a dangerous precedent to set. But we're glad that you did it.
And so this is, what was the name of this expansion?
This is Stewards of the Valley.
This is the player expansion.
Just the player expansion.
Now, what was the name of the other expansion?
Legacy of the Ancestors.
And that was the one that was a part of the original Kickstarter as well?
Yeah.
So you, like I did, backed the Kickstarter, got the core game. That's still pending. And this is the all-new thing as part of this crowdfunding campaign.
They have that sweet returning backer thing. Where if you did full on back the first one, you just need like Stewards of the Valley and the
errata
expansion, the errata pack, and
then the miniatures and a play mat. That's all. That's it.
All of the things that you can't resist.
Andrew confirming all are on parity.
All are on
as
parity.
Of this release.
So if you're from the old days, Jonathan, you can take us back to the main if you'd like. If you're from the old days, you may remember us from such hits as unboxing. What was that first Netrunner pack? What Lies Ahead?
What Lies Ahead.
Well, that's thematic.
Well, actually, before that, for some reason, I did a solo unboxing of Wave 2 of X-Wing in Covenant 1.0.
You did. Those were some good videos, actually.
Whilst we were open.
I liked that energy. I'm just saying, I liked the energy. John liked it too.
That was just pure moxie. I remember we got one of each ship in early as prizes to give away at a pre-release.
Yeah.
And there was nothing preventing us from opening them. We're still going to give them to the people of the tournament. So then I remember John and I communicating for some reason about it and being like, let's go shoot it now.
Let's just go unbox it.
Yeah.
So what we did, like in the early FFG days, a lot of what we did was just show the cards of the new expansion and talk about how they might function in a new metagame or how they would change certain characters or, how we liked them. And that was really the start of our YouTube channel. So it feels very reminiscent, I would say, to be featuring a game like EARTHBORNE Rangers that is founded by former head of studio of Fantasy Flight Games, former art director at Fantasy Flight Games, whose cards we were unboxing, a lot of the card designs that went through Andrew Navarro as art director that got the attention of a lot of the FFG staff. And I know that they used to watch those unboxing videos in the studio. That's how Andrew found out about us. Fast forward 1,000 years later, and we're partnered to sell EARTHBORNE Rangers on our website and produce great videos like this. So if there was a dream to come true, that would be one that I would choose actively.
That is over a decade ago.
Wow.
Crazy.
Incredible. I'm going to check them in the chat, and then we're going to get into some cards. So
I need a John cam.
Let's.
I like that I can see you now.
Yeah, I got a window.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna cut personality cards.
All right, we're not gonna. No personalities here.
I usually do cut personality, and then I'm gonna cut all of the.
We're gonna do these big stacks, aren't we?
Expandable from the original stuff. Now, hey, there's these reward cards in this. These reward cards are incredible.
I'm not going to look at them until I earn them.
See, here's what Andrew disagreed with us on this, or you and Jonathan at least. The point is you're supposed to know the reward that you can get, which is attached to the card, so that during deck building you actually get there's a part of constructing your character. You know that you can achieve this, and then
in real life, it's not like I was like, hey, you know what? Let me get this degree. And then it's going to definitely come. I was told it would definitely come with this reward, which was hogwash.
Well, in real life, you're also not the anchorite of stone. So I think we can suspend our.
I thought Andrew. So we recorded a podcast with Andrew yesterday. Covenant Cast is coming back after like an 8-month hiatus. We were building our studio, didn't have a place to podcast, etc. But I think he was actually saying the way he would do it is not knowing.
No.
I think that's what he said.
No,
yeah.
man. You were
Andrew, you were. I think the way he said it is like for most people, he feels like they wouldn't take that risk, but that's what he would do.
All right, so let's pull up. This is not a rewards card.
Let's just see what Andrew says. He's here.
Let's pull up.
He can verify.
Jonathan, can you pull up Grell's secret map?
Mm-hmm.
Also, that comment earlier that you popped, John, Andrew T. Harrison.
Andrew Harrison has been here since the Monpog days.
Love this comment. Oh, that's so cool.
Do you know this is Andrew from Monpog? Andrew.
Oh yeah.
Andrew Harrison, the Martian Menace himself.
I didn't know that part.
I think he's the Martian. I think he was a Mars
Martian
guy.
Menace?
I think he was the Martian faction.
Man,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
The steel trap up here that's getting corroded over time.
My wife and I just finished our first campaign playthrough, and we cannot wait to see what happens next.
Wow.
I love that.
I can't imagine how awesome it would be to just like get through the camp. We're on day 4, and I feel like we've spent 20 hours.
20 hours easy.
No, I think he's saying their first playthrough, like their first session.
Oh, the first session, not the first campaign.
Yeah.
No, campaign playthrough, man.
The first 30 days, Andrew may be dedicated, man.
Andrew, did you make it through an entire campaign? Speaking of which, I'm playing tomorrow night with my 4-player group. Day 2, session 2. Mm-hmm. We aspire to get to day 30.
I'm hoping for 30 before Legacy comes in.
With your group?
So what is that? Probably, Jonathan and I. So when is this supposed to fulfill? End of the year?
I don't want to speak for anybody.
I looked at the page.
I think it's later this year. Andrew on the podcast, I believe, said it's hard to remember what he said on the podcast and what he's just said.
Yeah, don't cross those wires.
You know,
it's hard to keep the record and off the record straight.
I'm pretty sure he. It seemed like obviously we have all these cards here. The art is actually here. The design development has happened. It's not completely final, but like this should be going quicker than the last time. Like the original Kickstarter, because the original Kickstarter happened, the game wasn't final. Okay. Etc. Andrew Fisher saying end of 2024.
End of 2024. Beautiful.
Andrew Harrison says we completed the story.
Yeah.
What?
Also, this is not Andrew T. Harrison from the Monpog days. This is started at X-Wing.
So different Andrew Harrison.
But there's an Andrew Harrison
who was the Martian Menace.
Who was the Martian
Menace?
Menace himself.
At least my instincts were right there. I didn't think he was the same connected thread. He looked different in this picture, assuming that's him, than the Andrew Harrison I remember.
Yeah.
Although, age happens, so I guess.
Do you guys think that, you think this will actually be by the end of 2024?
Ooh.
What do you think?
Give me the
Earthborne
poll.
team?
Give me the poll.
Let's be real.
Give me the poll, Jonathan.
Is this a conservative thing, or is this kind of a hopeful? This is your second run, so it should be more accurate.
Here's what I know about manufacturing physical goods and getting them all over the world. It's quite difficult.
Yeah, hard to predict.
Nothing's for sure until you have it in your hand.
Sorcerer is what, a year later than what they thought? Year and a half? 6
like
months? 9 months?
9 months.
9 months. That seems about the timeline. All right, hey, Grell's secret map. Can we get that back up?
Yeah.
All right, so here's how these cards work. This is one of the new Traveler cards that we're not exactly going to show you, but here it is. So it says unique objective, 6 hunches, and then they're gonna make an entry for it. So you need to get 6 hunches on this thing, and once you get 6 hunches on it, you read the entry, and it introduces the reward card that you then put into your deck after you get to those 6 hunches.
I mean,
so Grell's secret map has a reward card right here that you then gain access to.
I love it.
So you can put something in your deck that then you have to, what does it say? When a feature with 2 or more presents is cleared, add a hunch to this and add 1 progress to the location. Clear a bunch of stuff, you get 6 hunches, then you get a reward akin to the things that you would get from the path deck.
And even when you read the book, though, when you go to the campaign book, it could say, if this is your first time here, this.
It could.
Not necessarily immediately into.
It could.
If this is your 8th time here, you get this thing.
But look at that.
It's a text box.
Yeah, Jonathan built that to be read like a hacker. That's like straight out of the 1995 Geocities. Was it Geocities or Geocities? I always said Geocities.
I say Geocities.
It's got to be Geocities, right?
I'm not a... Pronunciation and words are not my strong
You guys
suit.
know about this one?
Adding tokens. Cards with the objective keyword cannot have tokens added to them by any means except those described on the card, so you can't cheat.
Can't cheat. Yeah.
Nah, somebody's played a card game before.
You can't use the inherently powerful cards that you put in your deck to do inherently powerful things. You have to earn that one the hard way.
All right, these are all gone. We're going to save these for next week, unless, again...
Davy is saying, notably, those hunches are tracked and added up between days. So you can take time to do it.
Yeah, because you write them on your little campaign chart. Yeah. Love that. All right, well, let's start. You want to start with the Spirit Speaker or the Talespinner?
That's up to you, man. I'm just here for the...
Let's start with the Spirit Speaker.
Right. This one?
So here's the...
Remember we used to pass out the cards and we'd go around the circle and then it's like your turn to read, so the same person didn't have to read every card?
It's like reading in class. We'll go back and forth.
There's so many of those videos. I remember I would get to a card because at some point we were unboxing everything. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of unboxings happening, but pronunciation and being on camera was something I was not exactly comfortable with.
Yeah.
So I'd be looking at my next card and it's like there's a word on there that I do not know.
It's like that bead of sweat.
And I'm like, all right, I'm going to for a long time, it's like, I'm going to try to say this and not have anyone notice. Eventually you start asking. It's like, hey, how do you say this word?
Isn't that really what growth is about? Okay. Here's what a Spirit Speaker is. Trev Frog said, I thought the stream was just going to be minor reveals like cards. If I knew there would be rules, I would have cleared my schedule and barred the door.
I just read that comment. It's so good. Yeah, but you know what? You never know what we're going to do on this here stream. That's the promise.
That's why Andrew is always he's a little nervous always going into these, I think. He also knows that I can make jabs at him and he really has no defense. He told me that the other day. He said it was unfair.
It is a one-sided conversation.
Yeah, it's one-sided.
Between us and everyone else.
We just won't read his comments in response.
Actually, let's just block them.
Let's talk about Spirit Speakers for a second. So, yeah, just block Andrew.
No thanks.
What a Spirit Speaker does is think of it like a in your head like a shamanic kind of vision-driven character.
So not a wizard.
Not a wizard, but somebody who communes with the spirit world. So you go into, let's say, a trance. You commune with the spirit world. And when you're in that trance, you swap your common test card for a new set of common tests, if you will.
So you're almost going into this ethereal realm and you're behaving differently.
And while you're in the ethereal realm, you can do different things than physical beings can.
Checks out.
So perhaps let's bring the Spirit Speaker test
Start with the test
card up. Yeah, let's look at what a Spirit Speaker can do. So you get 4 tests, 1 for each aspect, as usual. But let's look at your fit test. Instead of traverse, you have influence of X. So you influence the pattern of the material plane. You can move a feature or being, and you dodge all cards that share an area with a spirit. So now apparently what the Spirit Speaker is doing is generating spirits and putting them in different zones where they want to focus their spirit attention.
Or recognizing spirits are there.
No, I think they come
Are they
right out of
actually
this.
literally creating
I think they
it?
come out of this bad boy. Yeah, like here's a spirit.
Okay.
You got them. They're here.
They're here.
Yeah, you're putting them there, as I understand it. We'll find out together as we go along. So basically, rather than traversing a feature to put progress on it, you can move a feature or a being. And then you have the Spirit Awaken test to awaken the healing energies within. To choose a ranger, they soothe fatigue equal to the number of spirits within reach of them plus 1. Now that is crazy. Just a straight up common fatigue healing test is out of control.
Wow.
I mean, with the spirits, though.
But that is going to make things very good for the rest of the group.
Okay.
Or yourself, I suppose. Choose a ranger. That can be you. Focus test is going to be commune. To commune with an interdimensional being, add 2 progress to a spirit for every effort. So presumably, again, you put spirits out, and then as you commune with them, maybe they clear and they do something.
Or maybe you could also find spirits in the world of Earthborne.
There may be spirits. I didn't think about that. In Legacy,
Yeah.
you might have them come out of the path deck.
Mm-hmm.
Now that would be something.
You go into some cave and it's like,
You watched True Detective season 4?
no.
People are talking.
Yeah, people are talking.
What?
I've watched
How's
it.
this connected?
I watched it all the way up. There's just some
Draw
spirits.
the line.
There's a
Okay.
little spirit kind of
How
thing
many,
in
how
it.
many episodes are there so far?
I think there's 4 released so far. I've watched them all 4.
Who's the star? Jodie Foster?
Jodie Foster. Yeah.
Is it worthwhile so far?
So far, it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's as good as
I
season
didn't know
1.
there was a season 3.
I didn't either. And I watched it, and it was good.
Season 3?
It was
caught up somehow?
very different. I never touched season 2 because I was warned. Season 1, unstoppable. Season 3, different, good, but not what you expect from True Detective. Season 4, we're back to what we expect as a good version, but not as good as season 1 so far.
Yeah.
But how can it be?
It goes back to that special conversation we had on Monday.
It's pretty good, though.
How do you beat the OG?
Awareness. Measure the truth of reality to scout path cards equal to the number of spirits along the way plus 1. Now, this is a big test. Scouting path cards is really important.
Hey, I know that these mechanics and stuff are important, but I just want to read this Andrew comment really quick. Saying mechanically you're putting them into play, but you can imagine it as though they are always there and your ranger is reaching out to them.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
So it's not like you're, summoning fire and casting it,
Right.
or summoning this thing as much as these spirits are always around you and around us.
Right.
And these people are just connected enough to recognize their presence and engage with them.
It's just represented in the terms of your cards in your deck.
Yeah.
Because how else could it be? There's, unless you just put decks or cards all over the board and just maybe there's a Spirit Speaker.
I mean, it's sort of like Oru is always, with me in my deck,
That's true.
but
That's very true.
he's just hanging around.
Well, let's start with number 1. Let's look at the Keeper of the Grove. It's a new role. Art's terrible. How
He's joking.
They keep making it better. It's because of all of us buying the game, I think, is how they get the money and time to do that.
It does help. Yeah.
Exhaust before your first turn of the round. Add 2 progress to a spirit, then Spirit Speak. And Spirit Speak is the act of going into the spirit realm and getting the common test changed over. And I believe you have to pay an energy for it.
First turn of the round. So this is the very beginning.
Exhaust before your first turn of the round. Add 2 to a spirit. Yeah, I think it's the first thing you would have to do.
So you couldn't do this on the first turn unless you started with spirit.
They have to exhaust to Spirit Speak. You getting that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Can you
check
pull
it
up the text again? I guess I
out.
should
You
read
better
that.
believe it.
Spirit Speak. I'm gonna.
Also, I want to point out this comment from. Let me find it.
Who you got?
Where'd it go? Alexander Van Den. I can't say the last name. I'm not even gonna try. It's just like what I was saying earlier. Maybe Steven can when this comment pops. I have a new mission today. It says, nice to see you guys again live. Good to see you as well. Maybe this will put me over the line to buy this game.
We stand to benefit from that.
We'll see. You can buy it directly from us right now. Core set and the card doubler. But everything else is the game found.
It's 9 months early. You get back into the game found, 80. Buy it now for 100. We get $20 worth of enjoyment in 9 months. 10 months? 11 months? I should hope so. Davy's saying Davy's saying you don't have to pay an energy to Spirit Speak by default. Okay, so I'm gonna guess. Oh, that's what this one is. I understand. Okay, Jonathan, sorry. Can you pull that back up?
Yeah. What's the name of the card?
Just the Spirit Speaking text. Let me make sure I understand this completely. Okay, okay, so when it instructs you to Spirit Speak, exhaust your roll. Replace your common test card with the Spirit Speaker test card. Got it. You don't have access to the common tests and cannot perform any tests that are not printed on or interacting with a spirit. Okay. You can, however, perform any of the tests on the Spirit Speaker card, regardless of what they interact with. These give you new, interesting ways to interact with the world and powerful effects that interact with spirits. How do you get out of that?
When you ready your roll. As long as your roll is exhausted, you remain Spirit Speaking. When you ready your roll, either during the refresh phase or due to another effect, replace your Spirit Speaker test card with the common.
This is going to be so fun. Are there going to be cards in the card pool that ready, like your Ranger card, so that you come out of the Spirit Speaking? Probably. Okay.
All right, so what's that card?
So Keeper of the Grove, exhaust before your first turn of the round, add 2 progress to a spirit, then Spirit Speak.
Okay.
I read that as the very first thing that this roll has to do every turn is go to the spirits. Mm-hmm. Right? That's the only way you can interpret it. I've been playing enough sorcery.
I don't know what the next card does, but this is the one I would choose.
Cartographer of Many Worlds.
I like maps.
Exhaust.
Cartography, that's a map thing, right?
Exhaust. Spend 1 energy to Spirit Speak.
I mean, come on.
But you don't have to do it at the very beginning.
That's right.
So this one is ostensibly better, but you're forced to do it early.
I'm just saying, look at this character. This character looks amazing.
No, let's look at Descendant of the Guide. This is to me my favorite art in Earthborne so far. Yeah, of like the rolls.
We need
the lighting on that
air horn.
It's so gorgeous. That may be the old one too, Jonathan. That's the one he sent us though.
Oh yeah, that's what he said.
He sent it to. So the art has changed a little bit on this.
That's why I put the warning up there.
Nice. Look at that. Look at that. Look who's got a heads-up ball play there. Final art, graphics, and text may vary.
He's a man ahead of the curve.
So,
okay. What does that one do?
Exhaust. Perform a Spirit Speaker test.
So this is not...
That's not Spirit
Speak. This just lets you do one of those tests without being in the spirit
That's right.
realm.
You're a descendant of the guy, so you're kind of a natural. It's like a sorcerer in D&D instead of a wizard, I think.
Yeah, must be a Skywalker. Anyways,
wait, how does the descendant of the guide enter the spirit realm? We don't know.
That's why we have Andrew and Dalby here.
How do we get in the spirit realm with this? Is it through the cards?
I mean, maybe it's a character that only does it once around. You don't need to do it all the time.
Oh, maybe you don't ever go to the spirit realm.
That's what I'm saying. There's a cost to being stuck over there. Yeah, particularly if you were like solo, I feel like this would be a lot like you can't just like be off in spirit land the whole time solo.
I beg to differ.
Well,
but yeah, you're right.
Report back. Let me know how that goes.
Let's put progress on the test. All right. Well, shall we?
Andrew Fisher says you don't. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Fisher, thank you.
Just beautiful. A little bit of a spirit speaker, but not like
Let it be known too that Andrew Fisher also seems to be crushing his role at Earthborne Rangers. Earthborne Studios, I should
Seemingly
say.
Not just that either.
He's crushing
I
everything.
About that. Stormlight Archive RPG.
He's in Stormlight Archive art.
Where'd that come from?
What are you doing, man? You're everywhere.
I'll tell you what Brandon Sanderson is doing.
He's writing books.
That guy is crushing. Anyways, back to it.
They took the piece of George R.R. Martin that wrote things and they multiplied it in a lab and then they put it out as Brandon Sanderson.
Maybe that's what happened to Martin.
Yeah.
It literally Sanderson popped out and it's like, I lost all ability to do anything productive.
He stole it all. Clearer of Ways. 1 cost, awareness. Attachment, wisdom, spiritual. Look at that art, dude.
Yeah, it's cool. Let me borrow this.
Attach it to a spirit. When you play it, you may ready the attached spirit. When a ranger performs a test, they may discard 2 or more progress from the attached spirit. Dodge a card in the same area as it for every 2 progress discarded.
Nice.
Oh man.
What up, Wayne?
I just love it already.
It really makes you think.
You put a spirit in, you attach clear the ways to it to ready it, get another use out of it. Presumably they do things. And then that spirit acts as a way to find your path through cards and
Kyle
obstacles.
requesting, is it possible for us to see a spirit so we have context for what,
That's a good
what it
idea.
is to interact with these things?
Let's look at the Sitka spirit.
I'm familiar with the Sitkas.
Sitka spirit.
They showed up everywhere in that first day.
2 awareness. Being, spirit, 0 presence there. Persistent and spirit.
So persistent means you travel from location to location. They stick around.
And it's a spirit.
Okay. And you would put this...
You would pay 2 awareness.
Would this be within reach of you? Do you put it along the way? Do you put it...
I feel like I could put it anywhere I wanted. I mean, spirits are everywhere, are they not?
But it's got to go somewhere on the board, right?
Sure,
Because
sure.
like this thing, the clear of ways, was it let you dodge things that are in the same area?
Yeah.
So is there like a rule?
There's a rule. Put it wherever you want it, man. I don't know what the rule. Andrew's got it. Somebody's going to answer that question. But you put the Sitka buck in. Oh, they have challenge effects? Before a Sitka buck would resolve a challenge effect, discard 2 progress from the spirit to exhaust the buck.
So it doesn't resolve the effect.
So you can just wreck Sitka bucks? Are we going to see a lot of Sitka bucks down in the caverns, though? Check this out. Look at the challenge. Right, Andrew's got it. So you put it out in front of you, and then you got to do your
To move it.
influence test to move a feature or being, and then you move it around.
Okay.
This feels like, you remember that old game Power Monger?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that weird?
Wow, yeah.
Just came out of the nowhere. But it feels like the Spirit Speaker is like, has this higher level moving things like the chessboard of Earthborne.
Yeah.
So wait, what is this challenge effect? You may discard 1 or more progress from this spirit to exhaust a being in the same area with presence equal to the number of progress discarded. I'm going to love this, straight up. So you can just put a lot of progress on here, perhaps with a connect test, because it is a being.
Well, you also have this thing, right?
The other rangers can connect with it through a common test.
You can commune with an interdimensional being to add 2 progress to a spirit for every effort.
Can normal rangers connect with spirits? That's a good question.
Can you pull up the common test card?
Boom. Connect. Add progress to a being equal to your effort. This says being, but it also says spirit, and spirit might mean that you can only commune with it in the spirit world. I think I've said that on the stream already.
Really? That would be confusing.
I think so.
Because if this tells me I can interact with the being.
Can't connect with spirits. Part of the spirit keyword. See, I told you I'd already read it. So if there are spirits on the board, only the spirit speaker can deal with them and talk to them and hang out with
What?
them.
Are you making it a being so it interacts with other cards?
There could be other reasons for it to be a being.
Here's your spirit keyword.
Oh, because also influence says feature or being. So that's why. Spirit keyword. You cannot interact with cards with the spirit keyword with any common test. Other tests can still interact with spirits as normal. Well, there you
That's
go.
why.
Yeah, that's
there it
why.
is.
So if you have some cool cards that say being on it, you could do some stuff with this.
Which we do.
Okay, Sitka spirit. Let's see what else. Let's just get all the spirits going. How about the spirit of the Verdessa? Now look at that. That's a sketch right now. Look at this bad boy. You got Verdessa up there, John?
Yeah, that's coming.
Look at this bad boy.
No, maybe not. Hold on.
Verdessa's gone. Check that out.
This is a plant?
It's unique, and that's how you know that it's really strong.
It says being, spirit,
Oh, hold on.
and then it also says major.
Like a major general.
I think more like significant.
There it is. A major. So like a major spirit.
It's persistent, it's unique, it's a spirit. 1 presence? What's the dash mean?
It doesn't. You can't harm it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Can't harm a spirit. You want to keep going?
Oh, sure. I didn't want to step on anyone's toes. Exhaust. Discard up to 3 progress from the spirit to choose a path card in the same area. Reduce that card's presence by the number of progress discarded until the end of the turn. And then, of course, if you resolve a sun icon, is there a name for that proper?
It's sun.
The sun. You may discard 2 progress from the spirit to search the path deck for the next being or feature. Then add 2 progress to that card. That is good.
Yeah, these are going to be so cool, man.
Because That is very good.
You know what I'm feeling about Spirit Speaker is the same way that I felt about a number of.
Oh, this has presence, so it can fatigue you. Interesting.
Whoa. I felt a lot about like certain Netrunner archetypes. Like I know the exact person who's going to play this.
100% Kindle.
Yeah, that's it. You did it. We thought about the same person.
Like there's a lot going on here. It's anyone who plays Prism and Fab.
Yeah,
It's the
kind of the control player.
You want to play auras and you want to do weird things that only you understand. I literally play against Prism and it's like, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna swing at that. How does it? You tell me how it works.
You tell me how spirits work. Aatrox Spirit, being spirit. So we're seeing a theme here. So we've got the Sitka on awareness. We've got the Aatrox on fitness.
How majestic is that?
It's beautiful.
Aatrox looking.
Persistent spirit. When pouncing Aatrox enters play, discard 2 progress from this to treat it as if it did not have ambush. So if you're communing with the Aatrox spirit and you're at a place where the pouncing Aatrox come in, like in the mountains, spoiler alert, isn't it in the mountains? I think it's the mountains. You got the spirit on, you're like, no. You don't, no. We don't need that. And then they don't.
Interesting.
And then on the sun, you can either exhaust the spirit or discard 2 progress from it to move up to 3 progress from the spirit to a feature in the same area. Oh, this is all very, very good. Introducing challenge effects onto these cards makes me love them even more.
Yeah, it's really cool. I like the idea of player cards that interact in that way.
I'm here for the challenge effects, honestly.
It's like kind of at the heart of the game, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Like you take an action and that makes the board go.
Yeah, it makes the board come alive. Spirit of Mountain M. Check this out. So I love the sketch on this. Oh my gosh. This is going to be so good.
It's a mountain face.
Look at it.
It looks displeased.
Yeah, but kind of like eerie and like we don't understand it. Big,
Makes sense.
you know? Major.
Imagine if you were gigantic and couldn't move.
I think about that daily. Being spirit, major, persistent, unique, spirit, exhaust. When a ranger interacts with a card in the same area as the spirit, discard 2 or more progress from the spirit to commit 1 effort for every 2 progress discarded. On the blue challenge icon, you may discard 3 progress from the spirit to exhaust a feature in the same area. That is so useful.
That can be big because some of those features are really annoying.
So from what we can tell so far, you're going to play a spirit, then you're going to generally use an influence test to move it where it needs to be, and then you're going to awaken it, commune with it to add progress to it with
And then
focus.
it's going to do fun stuff.
And remember, you add 2 for every effort. So if I put 6 effort into this bad boy, you're going to add 2 progress for every effort.
So 12.
12.
Then it's just
You're good at
rolling. And these are persistent, notably.
So they do they still clear their progress though between
don't think
locations?
so.
You don't think so?
No, because
You don't remove all tokens?
that's just day in a day.
Wow.
Yeah. So you load them up, you put them along the way,
And then you just start.
move to the next place and start clearing.
Huh.
You could also see scenarios like you were looking
is
at
crazy.
the Sitka one, or even this particularly. Like if you know you're going somewhere that's going to have challenging features,
Mm-hmm.
you could be somewhere nearby, like Golden Shore, load this up with 12,
Yeah, dude.
and then travel knowing that you've just got this like built-in thing going on.
Yeah. Because like Jonathan and I know exactly what it's like to go down there to the freaking Terravore.
I want to get down to the bottom of that map.
Yeah.
My team was not having it though.
You know
We
how-
went north. I was like, boo.
We were so close to going through that swamp of forbidden dreams or whatever, that marsh of sorrow.
The word forbidden calls to me.
Yeah, and then we were like, I think it might be a little above our pay grade right now. And then we
too
went
rookie.
to save people from the flood.
The I like the idea of having to set up, like having to know where you're going and what you're trying to achieve, and setting up early in the day at one location. It's almost like climbing a mountain, right? Where it's like you can't just show up and climb the mountain. You have to prepare for it.
You got to prep.
Even across multiple sessions, the idea of prepping it's like, there's this big task we're trying to do. Anyways,
Check this
They
out.
do fatigue you.
They do fatigue you, yeah. Irix Spirit. Discard 2 to treat all circling Irix as if they did not have persistent. Oh my gosh.
Worth it.
I mean, I would run the whole character just for this card. I hate those birds
I hate those birds.
so much.
Can you pull up the bird, the Irix?
Circling Irix, yeah. Well, do people want to see it?
Oh,
Well, nice spoiler coverage there. Nope. Spoiler. Hilarious.
Yeah, see, we didn't want to show
Yeah.
it, but it's very annoying if you haven't been there. You'll enjoy that. You may either exhaust this spirit or discard 1 progress from it on the blue on the mountain. If you do, resolve a challenge effect on another being in the same area. Now that could get really interesting. So you can exhaust or discard a progress from this whenever the mountain comes up to resolve any challenge effect on another being in the same area. So even if it's like a sun or a crest. There's wild stuff. Spirit of the Valley. Now
I
wait
like
a minute.
this.
Now wait a minute.
I don't know what's going on here.
Now wait a minute. That's got Mononoke vibes to the max. Oh, look at that.
I like this. I don't know what it's doing.
It's ethereal too, so that's something we'll need
Hey,
to learn
I used that
about.
word earlier.
Did you?
Ethereal realm. Yeah, I just didn't know it was an actual word. Do we have a keyword here?
I don't-
Ethereal is not the keyword.
I don't know what it is.
Not that we have.
We'd have to sorcery it out. Minor Spirit, says Davi, kind of randomly turned out to be just a response to everyone's hatred of mountains. So true. All right, so here's the 3 things that this does. Doesn't do anything on its own.
I need to know what ethereal does, though.
The sun, you draw the sun, you can move up to 4 progress from this to another spirit in the same area, so it can tend your other spirits. Mountain, you may discard 3 progress to gain 1 energy of any type. Oh, that's good. That is like my favorite thing in this game. You may discard 2 progress from this spirit to scout 1 challenge card. So it basically just does everything.
Well, but you don't get to control what it's doing.
Yeah. Like the greatest spirit of all, you can't possibly control
I
it.
love
You
this card.
interpret it.
This is the card, and it's sort of chaotic. This is a card. If I were playing this is what I'd be running for.
Really?
Like, something like a Sitka Spirit is very specific, which is fine. But this is just like, I'm going to get this out, I'm going to load it up with tokens, and then we're going to do good stuff.
Yeah, it's a good strategy.
Like gain energy of a type. Like, that's really powerful.
And we pulled 4 or 5. So it's unlikely. And like clockwork, there it is. So again, you can discard, it's only 1. Discard 1 progress from this to cancel the movement of a Olympic. It doesn't even cancel the fatiguing or the ambush. This is I feel like I'm getting a little trolled with this one. And then it says, Sun, you may either exhaust this spirit or discard 2 progress from it. If you do, move up to 3 progress from this spirit to a non-spirit being in the same area. That is the best challenge effect.
Yeah.
So
It helps you just clear the board.
exhaust or discard, and it helps you clear those Friends of the Valley. So the people that you need to clear to get the mission prompts and stuff.
Yeah, powerful.
This is very powerful. Okay, so those are all of our spirits. No, there's a big one. Spirit of the Silverfin. Oh, it's the big water spirit. You want to do one?
Oh, sure.
I'm just
Let me read it here
like a
because
child
once a
over here
comment pulls.
full of
So
excitement.
3 spirit, 1 fatigue, persistent unique spirit, as you might expect. Exhaust, when you would suffer 1 or more fatigue or an injury while this spirit is within reach. Discard 3 progress from it to prevent that fatigue or injury. And then there's a name for this.
Crest.
I was going to say there's a name for this crest. And then it turns out it was crest. You may discard 2 progress from the spirit and choose a path card. If you do, challenge effects on that card do not resolve during this test.
Oh, wow.
But if this was within reach, this wouldn't trigger until after you've already passed.
You could trigger it first on anything in front of you that has the crest. That would be bad. And a lot of times it's like bears and cats and stuff. So once we get to your area, you say, I want to trigger this. Don't trigger this thing in front of me.
Yeah.
That's quite good. And also preventing an injury is game changing. Because like sometimes an injury equates to 6 cards out of your deck that you don't get to use. And that's too much.
A lot of your deck. It's like a 5th of your deck, right?
Yeah, that's too much.
They're saying ethereal used to be a keyword and they cut it.
Got it. Don't need it. Okay, so
That's all the spirits.
those are all of our spirits.
What's your highlight spirit? Mine's the Spirit of the Valley. No question.
I'm going to choose the Iris Spirit just because
You hate those birds, I guess.
hate those birds.
I have not had the privilege of interacting with the birds yet.
And also the Aatrox Spirit is really good.
Mutton Chop, what's happening, man? Saying I didn't back this game, but I bought it from Covenant after watching their gameplay. I'm glad I did. It's one of my favorite games.
Love it. Good to see you, Mutton
hear it.
Chop.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Okay, let's pick back up with the awareness cards that are not spirits.
Okay, nice.
All right, why don't you hit that one? Drink some twinnings here.
Call upon the spirits. One awareness. It's a moment / knowledge / expert. What does expert mean?
You can't.
You can't do it unless you're.
Can't be an outside interest or something.
Yeah.
Search your deck for a spirit and add it to your hand. If you are spirit speaking, you may play that spirit, reducing its cost by 1. Otherwise, you may exhaust your roll to spirit speak.
I mean, this is a staple.
Yeah,
Is what we call this.
that ability to spirit speak, or just get a discount. I think is really good, and you're just tutoring for the card you want.
That I don't see how everybody doesn't run max of that.
2.
Yeah. That's right, 2. The path opens before me. One of my favorite styles of art here. Is this Evan that does a style of art? That Evan Simonet?
Evan did most of the art.
Is this the Evan special? Or is this... I know that this style is a specific kind of...
I love that style.
Or do y'all do all of it? I don't know. Does it matter? One fit moment
Does it say it
experience.
somewhere?
The thing is, like, humans are important. I'm finding that out more and more as I get older.
I'm glad that
Rather than the conglomerated mass of an
17 years
organization.
into this institution, you've come to that conclusion.
After you succeed at a test that interacts with a spirit, add progress to the location equal to your effort. Now, come on, you got to run this one too.
Well, you can't run them all, man.
This is in addition to the test standard effect. This is incredible. You got to run this as well. That's a must run for me. I put that in the S tier of Earthborne. Wayne O'Connor. Does Wayne do all the ones that look like this?
The location being, this is where we're at, right? Like it's the main location? Is that what
Conceptually, yeah, it's the main. Yeah.
I didn't know if there was like some other type of card.
Does it say a location or the location? The location, yeah, the main.
The location. So you'd get a double dip. This is the cards. This is the cheating cards we were talking about.
Yeah, that's you got to run. I have to run this. I'm not going to not run this, and everybody can run it because it's one fit. Jonathan, what was that comment you just pulled up?
Good.
How's everybody doing on a Wednesday, by the way? What's your Wednesday look like out there?
This style of art is done by Wayne O'Connor.
That's Wayne O'Connor.
And I saw Wayne's name earlier in the chat. I didn't realize I was talking to a superstar
Wow. I love that style of
in the
card.
house.
Yeah, he does all the moments.
The
Wayne,
moment.
very
I love
cool.
this moment style of art. Yeah.
Yeah, what's everybody doing on a Wednesday? What is 130 people out there watching doing on a Wednesday right now?
During work hours, nonetheless.
Yeah, this is actually our job, if you can believe it.
Out there getting stoked for Spirit Speaker.
Out there getting stuck for
Yeah.
Spirit Speaker.
I will, to be fair, a lot of people work nights and weekends. A lot of people also watch from not Central Time.
A lot of people work at home. And they have us
lot of
on in the
people-
background while they're highly productive.
A lot of people have headphones in and have us on anyway at work, and no one's the wiser. I'm not going to tell on you.
Because we have the most pleasing voices.
JK lines immediately. I'm avoiding work.
Let's look at attendant guide. One fit attachment. Knowledge and spiritual. Look at the art on that. Y'all. Why do you keep delivering so hard on this? And the foot coming over the frame, you know, it's that kind of stuff. Always gets it.
Very cool.
Attach it to a spirit. When a ranger interacts with a card in the same area as the attached spirit, exhaust that spirit to commit its approach icons to that test. Now, wait just a minute.
Oh.
This is where the game gets.
Also, this is my favorite comment in a while.
Listening as a podcast, I have no idea what you guys even look like. Never seen an episode.
Picture just, yeah, it's funny.
All
Oh
right.
man, just a decoy. I broke my leg helping a friend move a piano like a Looney Tune. Can't wait to go back to work next month.
Luckily, it was just the decoy, though.
Man, I'm telling you, a piece of, obviously it's a little too late now, advice. Anytime someone I'm close to asks me to help them move, I instead just offer them money to contribute to a moving company. I literally haven't moved like helped someone move in like a decade. And you know, I'm serious. It's worth it. Don't hurt yourself.
I have a pickup truck. So I've helped about 8 people move since I got that.
That's one of my favorite bumper stickers I've ever seen.
We don't all have the money to pay movers, Zach.
Yes, this is my truck. No, I will not help you.
Yeah, right. I'll help y'all. I'll help everybody move. I actually quite like it.
You remember that time early in the pandemic when you were like, hey, if you order X number of boxes from us,
yes,
I'll hand deliver it.
And then we put that 24 cap in so I would not get roasted.
Yeah, you were close.
Yeah. All right, let's look at attendant guide. Okay. So we attach it to a spirit. Let's say we attach it to the spirit of Mountain Nim. When a ranger interacts with a card in the same area as the attached spirit, so spirit of Mountain Nim is up here in the main. You attach this bad boy to it, exhaust it, and then you get a free Explory and Heart icon. Compass and Heart.
Where's that stack of spirits real quick? Asking for a friend. Is it this one? Is it here? Let me just peruse through here real quick. I'm basically looking, are there any that have multiple? No, none of these have multiple of the same icon.
Yeah, it's just a +1, basically.
So I was really hoping we could break something.
But then you can also exhaust to move the attached spirit without a test.
That's really nice.
Now that's really probably why you're there.
It's still a bonus. Like you get to move it, and then you get a free icon at some point in the round. Like, we'll take it. Where does this go? I want to make sure.
You just put it up here in the spirit stack.
Because we might need those later.
How about a Carbon Forge drum for you?
You can just hand him over when you're ready for someone else to read.
Yeah.
Carbon Forge drum. 1 focus. It's a gear, an instrument, and a tech. Takes up 2 slots. You only get 5 of those. You can see those icons on the top right. It comes into play with 3 beats. I was thinking like the vegetable.
That's BEET. Yeah. They've already got that covered.
It'd be funny if they said.
They were like, eh.
Anyways, exhaust. Use 1 beat. When a ranger reveals a challenge card during a test, choose a challenge effect on an active being. Resolve that effect this test. When a ranger reveals a challenge card.
First of all, go ahead.
So we've seen all these challenge icons on these beings. They're spirits.
That's right.
So you could use one to force one of these to happen at the right moment, which makes a lot of sense.
With a freaking drum, Zach.
Yeah. I mean, you could also do it on any other beings.
All beings.
There, you know?
Could be a doe.
Something eating the plant that you need to get rid of to get out and all that kind of stuff. Which is funny to think that, the drum would do that.
It somehow is perfectly in theme.
Davy, this card's busted. Who designed it?
The Long Walk. Gear book. And look at how they do books in the future past.
It's a scroll that's protected by a casing.
That speaks to my heart there.
It's old and new.
It's both old and new. It comes in with 3 journeys. Exhaust, use a journey. After you succeeded a test that interacts with a spirit, add progress to another spirit equal to your effort, so double dip. And then you can study the wisdom of your ancestors to add 1 progress for every 2 effort to a spirit and 1 journey to this book, so you get to refresh it. That's a must-run situation for me, too.
So the basic test is that it's 2 progress per effort, though, in the commune, right?
Let's look at the basic test again.
Focus, commune. Add 2 progress to a spirit for every effort, but
so this is 1 per.
It's also a spirit test instead of a focus test. So like you could take
any of those tests.
You could take the focus test to add, then you could take that spirit test to add, and suddenly you've got progress all over the place.
I got it.
Here you go. You like raccoons, eh?
I do like raccoons. I also like spirit cards. That was the 3 I chose on my first character. Meditating presence. 1 spirit, attachment, skill, and spiritual. Attached to a being with 1 or less presence. The attached being gains friendly. Exhaust. Move up to 2 progress from the attached being to another being that shares a trait with it and is in the same area.
I love this card, man.
That's really powerful.
Look at that shadow, too. Good work on the shadow. See the shadow, the ranger in the background?
I do, yeah. It's really cool.
Let's see.
Yeah, I love this card.
What are they fighting over there, you think?
Fighting for?
Or with? Is that like a bop it?
Looks like they stole something and they're fighting over it.
Probably stole someone's tortillas.
No joke.
Raccoons
Turn around
hilarious.
for 2 seconds and those tortillas are gone.
Yeah, little thieves.
Mediating.
They're cute though.
So it's an infusion canteen, and then the ranger is being like, "Hi, hey, raccoons."
They're mediating.
Yo,
it.
we can work this out. How about a
you
little
get a
spirit?
tortilla, you get a tortilla. Everyone's happy.
Heart harmonizer. Wow.
Looks cool from here.
2 spirit, gear tech, 4 songs, exhaust, use a song. After you succeeded a connect or commune test, soothe the fatigue. Man, that's good.
And you get 4 of those.
Response, when you would suffer an injury, spend 2 progress from a spirit within reach to prevent it. I love this little heart harmonizer, man.
Is that they wearing that on their body?
Yeah. And then if you've got a artificer in your group, Jonathan, he can exhaust to put something on a tech, which
Load
this
it back
is.
up. Yeah, just like my trail mix.
So every exhaust nets you 1 card of fatigue soothe, which is great. Okay, so that is the Spirit Speaker. What's the TLDR here?
Look at the rolls again. See if you know more now.
All right, the rolls. Keeper of the Grove. Exhaust first turn, add 2 progress to a spirit, and then Spirit Speak. This is the I'm going all in on spirits. Probably really good in multiplayer.
Yeah.
Cartographer of Many Worlds, kind of in the middle. Spin an energy to Spirit Speak. I feel like that's...
You can kind of go back and forth. Now, we saw nothing to go back to normal.
Yeah, aside from readying at the end of the round.
Yeah. Yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Descendant of the Guide. This is the I'm just dabbling.
One toe in.
But you might, as the Descendant of the Guide, there's a world where you would run very few spirits, but you go big on your non-spirit cards in the pool. Because you get 5 of these, I think, or 6, or haven't built a character in a while.
You could also have like a specific spirit you're playing with a card to go get the spirit.
Yes.
And then you don't need constant interaction with it.
I think that's probably how I would do it.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, the Descendant was, when we first started, I was like, that seems like the weakest one. By the end, and I do think it is
good.
Much better for lower player counts as well.
You get 5 cards.
5 cards. So check out Spirit of the Verdust. So you have to choose probably 1, maybe 2 spirits to specialize in.
Yeah.
The Spirit of Verdust got way better for me over the course of talking through these cards. Simply because you reduce something's presence by the number of progress discarded, which also often reduces the difficulty of tests, because a lot of tests are based on the presence. So like you've got the 3 or 4 presence thing out there, reduce it to 0.
That's easy.
All it's
easy
1 or 1 and all of it's 1. It's like, then the whole team gets to go like climb the mountain better. It's quite good. Okay, there we go. Spirit Speaker. What are y'all's thoughts on the Spirit Speaker? Tell me everything. Tell me what you think.
How many spirits would you give it? The art in this stack of cards over here was just immediately...
It's all so good.
Adorable.
This is what happens whenever people are just able to do what they care about. And just like have a...
Greatness?
They just like can make what they want.
Beauty,
They just
art,
get to make what they want.
Joy, meaning.
Look at Star Wars number 4, episode 4, was made by a team of people who just wanted to do exactly what they did. And probably half of George Lucas's ideas getting shot down. Then we fast forward to like episode 9. Nobody wanted to do any of the stuff that they were doing. It was all designed from some pinhead in a studio, in an executive ballroom, saying, give the people the closure they need.
Check the list. Give Chewie his medal. I won't go into
So we're in
that.
episode 4
you can't get me started on
of
that.
game design here.
I'm immune now.
This is raw creativity that gets to just be expressed. Hey, here's a question. We didn't ask Andrew this on the podcast, but I think I know my answer. This might be a controversial question, so don't answer it if you don't want to, but do you have...
I like that, Alex.
On the product map, do you have a fixed number of releases and you think you're going to do these and then you're done?
He said there's a specific story that he wanted to tell.
Yeah, but you get 3/4 of the way through, and everyone's like, "We love it," and we keep giving you money in the Kickstarters, and it's like, well, we could probably force something else out.
Well,
or do you close it and bring it back 5 years later?
I think he answered on the podcast. I think everyone watching this needs to go listen to the podcast when it goes out.
Yeah, it's not. It was Friday. I think we're gonna put it on Friday.
Didn't he say? I'm pretty sure he said.
Callback from Steel Slime. Call back to Monday. This is part of what makes something special when someone does it for the love of it rather than the money.
That can be felt here.
It can be felt here. Yeah. It's easy to do something for the love of it whenever you got $600,000 on your game found too. You know what I'm saying? Turns out people like that. And the money happens because you're doing something you love.
Yeah.
And so you can do more of what you love because the money is happening.
I think
that's how it's supposed to work, right?
It's a slippery slope. But ultimately, if you do something you love, and you can find a way to make that sustainable and make money, that's awesome. And usually the more, not usually, it doesn't always work, but when you do something you love, I feel like That's oftentimes the greatest way to actually succeed. But if you set out and the goal is success, that can usually be felt.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people deliver on that still.
Sometimes.
But I think it's particularly sensitive in art. And I think game creation is art.
Yeah, for sure.
And so when it's like, the equation would tell you make this kind of game in this kind of way with these kind of things. And that's kind of the problem with 2 weeks ago podcast topic where everyone's like, all right, sorcery, you need 4 sets a year. You have to do these things.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is the analytical, here's how you make money answer, not the art forward creative process. Yeah.
Creativity and love. Andrew is saying, for campaign expansions, there is a fixed number planned. Like they know where the story is going to go and end.
Like all great movies and series and TV shows, if there's a fixed plan, I just feel like it goes better.
It does go better.
That was the actual Star Wars problem.
Some would say that might have been Game of Thrones' problem too. They literally had no idea where they were going because it wasn't even finished.
Well, they had an idea. They thought the books would be done by the time they got there. Somehow,
we've all been
8 seasons of a show that was one of the most highly produced shows ever could be completed prior to a single book. Number 6 in the series of 7. Isn't that crazy?
It's a lot of it is just very strange.
Like, imagine if I was like, let's say one of your dad's universes got picked up.
Yeah, Old Fears finally got his. Yeah,
he could finish the next book before the first season came out.
He wouldn't. Yeah, he wouldn't stop writing.
But let's just say the first season comes out and then it's super popular.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have 7 more seasons left and just finish.
Yeah,
1.
I think you would also feel the stress and pressure of that, of like that much attention, and like now it's like it's really got to deliver. James, he puts that on himself, but when you have the external audience also putting that on you, I think it'd be pretty tough. James Parsons, I'm definitely game to Spirit Speak as someone who usually leans aggro, tank, brute force strats in card games. Shaper is my surprise favorite, and this will be up my alley too. Just subverting expectations by the day. Obsidian saying, he said the studio has other games they want to work on, so I would not be surprised by closure/completion of Rangers someday.
A little bit higher. People are talking about what they like about it.
Yeah, let's talk about what we like about it. Locator Gaming saying, I love the idea of the generally positive. Locator, hey, get that wingnut.
Yeah.
Hello.
I don't know if y'all saw this, but Jonathan was using
give me the top down on that bad boy.
A little wingnut
hardware
piece
and a cape
to
turn that thing around
to represent his Ranger one day because we were just destitute without tokens because we didn't have the deluxe ones yet or the minis. And Locator took it upon themselves to make this. So now this can be the Ranger token for Jonathan.
That's amazing.
Yeah. You won't find that in the game found.
Yeah, that is a fully custom piece.
Game not found.
Locator original.
And Locator saying here...
Locator almost sounds... What's the famous fashion brand that sounds like that? Couture?
Couture.
You can tell I'm fancy. Anyways, Locator is like a play on that. Oh, absolutely.
I love the idea of the generally positive effect from challenge icons on these Ranger cards. I like that too. Card of the Rings podcast. Really like the challenge effects on player cards. Very cool design space. Good to see the old Card of the Rings podcast in the swirl here.
Been around for a long time.
Yeah. Long time. Started with Lord of the Rings LCG, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
That's Cardboard of the Rings.
Obsidian saying Locator's bases are amazing.
Turn to the Random Studio saying I'm very intrigued by the mechanics. I could have a lot of fun playing around with those mechanics and the card options. I agree with that.
I feel like it's a really good. What's the macro category of this? Not class, but you know what I'm talking about?
So far, no.
Not like it's not background.
Specialty background.
Specialty.
This is a specialty.
So I feel like this is a great specialty particularly for people that have played this game a lot and have been through it. And it's like if you just need more going on to stay engaged, and particularly if you're very engaged and you're playing with someone who's like not necessarily a card gamer or like just doesn't want as intense of an experience. In a lot of games that I play that are competitive, having at least one of the sets of cards or strategies being more like this
Yeah.
Like you said, there's certain players I think that will really dig this. And some people will not want anything to do with something this. It's like, my card doesn't do anything until I get the spirit out. What if I don't draw my spirit? What if I don't?
Yeah.
I don't know how it goes.
Yeah. It's like me building Arkham characters. It's like, well, I'll draw that one of. Alex Shea, I would give it 5 spirits out of 5 spirits if spirits was the metric.
Spirits is the metric.
You can give it 5 out of 5 spirits even if it's not the metric. Andrew Navarro is saying, I'm playing solo with 1 focus, 3 awareness, descendant of the guy that has just the spirit of Verdessa for spirits, and it's very cool. That's exactly what I would have done. Maybe that's why this game hits so hard for me, is because we're very similar.
It would make sense.
I love it. What's next?
These cards.
Those cards. Okay, the Talespinner. So the Talespinner is, it's essentially a bard, storyteller, kind of...
Can I take these in whatever order I feel like I want to take them? Is that okay?
Sure.
Sure. Have you looked at those cards?
He's an agent of chaos.
Idiot.
I haven't looked at
No,
any of the
no,
Talespinner
but-
cards.
Okay,
It's different.
so this is basically a bard, right?
I don't know that for sure. I just saw the loot.
No,
and it's Talespinner, so
that's
they're like
the
telling
first-
stories, and
Is this backwards for a reason?
that's the reward that you get for completing the other
don't-
one. So I
don't
don't
look
want
at
you to
that
see it. Yeah, don't look at that one.
So I'm going to start with the Dolewood loot. Now, are there roles associated with this?
No. No roles associated with backgrounds, only with specialties.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
So you will have choose an aspect, then personality cards, then you choose Talespinner, and then you choose specialty.
This is the thing you did before you were a ranger,
Yeah.
but that has some, like Shepherd. Would Shepherd be in this category?
This would be a shepherd, traveler, forager, artisan.
Okay.
So you could be a Talespinner spirit speaker. Say that 3 times fast.
Coming to a table near you.
A tail speaker.
Okay. So let's.
Spirit spinner.
When I think bard, I think loot. So that's why I want to start with this card.
Yeah.
2 spirit, 2 slots out of your 5. Comes with 3 strums. Exhaust, use a strum. Choose a ranger. That ranger soothes 2 fatigue.
It's just so straightforwardly good.
You can also exhaust, use a strum. After a ranger soothes 3 or more fatigue, they can randomly shuffle one of those cards into their deck.
After somebody soothes of their own volition, they randomly shuffle one of them back into your deck. Wait, one of what cards?
One of the soothed fatigue?
Cards in their deck. But I want that card in my hand.
Maybe don't. More to come. Hold on. Let's look at other ways that we can play some songs.
I'm skeptical.
We have there could be something that like there's a reason you want specific cards in deck instead of in hand.
Yeah. Because you want them in hand later, but not now.
I don't know.
I don't either. I guess there are instances where you want to be able to take more fatigue.
Yeah.
And having that card in your hand is actually, I remember there's situations in the game where if I'm drawing a card, it's actually bad for me because I want it in my deck so that I can burn it to fatigue to those loot
You
rolls.
also might have a card that says search your deck for X, put it into play for minus X cost.
Okay, I understand now.
Et cetera, et cetera. That's what I said.
understand now.
Let's give the cards time to,
Okay,
breathe.
time to breathe. Now I'm going to judge them right away.
All right, now we get the transverse ocarina. 2 cost, focus, 2 slots, comes with 4 melodies. You can exhaust, use a melody, ready an attachment, or a card with the tail attached to it.
Well, we're going to need to know what that is.
Exhaust, use X melodies. After you play an attachment on a path card, exhaust that path card. X is equal to that card's presence.
This is bonkers.
So you put a tail on something, you can attach it.
The ready and attachment is always suspect. Like,
Yeah.
watch out, because that's going to get
It says the word
busted.
ready.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
see,
going
we
to
got
ready
more
and
gear.
attachment.
Let's see.
Tailspinners are the lore keepers of the valley. They often sing songs, but they can also be poets or simply storytellers.
Speaking of which, the Ranger Chronicles. It's a gear/book. Takes 2 slots, 2 focus. I love the art on this one.
Wow.
Like there's art on the art.
Wow.
See that?
Yeah, look. Wow.
It's like Inception. Anyways, response: after a ranger succeeds at a test with 4 or more effort or suffers 2 or more fatigue, add a saga to this gear.
I love it. I love it so much.
Okay, so if a ranger's awesome, you get a saga.
You're like writing down there,
Ah!
And then you can take a spirit test plus the navigation icon. I forget what it's called.
I call it the compass
et cetera.
rose. Yeah.
Use 1 saga. Recount 2. Recount your adventures to shuffle a card from the top of a ranger's fatigue stack into their deck. Add 2 progress to each human within reach of them.
Oh, they're basically telling the tale of this greatness, and then, yeah, that's super cool. How about that?
You gotta. Who's not running that?
Anyone with one focus. And then the last piece of gear in this stack is the Songweave Mantle. And this costs 1 spirit. It's gear, clothing, aid. Comes with 3 buffers. Just letting the screen load, you know.
Oh, I see it.
You may play this gear equipped to another ranger.
Okay.
Exhaust, use 1 buffer. When you would suffer 1 or more fatigue, discard a card from your hand. If you do, either prevent 1 of that fatigue, or if you have 5 or more fatigue, prevent all of it. So this is fatigue prevention.
When you would suffer 1 or more fatigue, discard a card from your hand. If you do, prevent 1 of that fatigue, or prevent all of it. So if you were going to take 2 fatigue, 3 fatigue, 4 fatigue.
know, this is actually somewhat powerful in game because you can discard from hand instead of fatiguing.
Yes, 100%.
And a lot of times you have 7 or 8 cards sitting there and no cards in deck.
And you can give it to your friend who's about to fatigue out.
Yeah, and this would let you extend a session.
I have definitely lost games where I've had like 8 cards in hand and I fatigue out.
Yeah,
and you can give that to your friends now, it overwrites their gear limit, right? Because it's a one thing. So if they are already full, you would have to overwrite their stuff,
which is funny.
Which
so
I like. It's like throwing your friends off the level in Mario.
Well,
like, blah.
they could choose to get rid of this, though, right?
Nah, man.
No, you just paid for it.
No, you mantle them.
You mantle them.
These cards are all very enticing. So the Talespinner is basically there to extend the day, it sounds like. Which makes sense because the day gets longer as you have to listen to people talk.
And they're just inspiring people.
Oh, that's a better frame there.
They're the hearts of the hearts and minds equation.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
You're keeping the
like
crew going. There's another attachment. It doesn't take up any slots, though. It's not gear, et cetera, et cetera. It's called the Stout-Hearted Ranger. 2 spirit. It's an attachment / tail.
So you're telling the story of the Stout-Hearted Ranger.
Now, we read earlier with this...
Yeah, this is great. This is awesome.
Where's the thing that said ready a tail? There it is. Ocarina.
Ocarina, yeah.
Okay. Anyways, response after you exhaust your roll, you may soothe the fatigue.
Well, you're going to do that every turn, so it's a free fatigue soothe every turn.
Well, there's also another response. When you discard your fatigue stack due to an injury, discard this tail instead.
Ah, come on.
The card's good. Is this final? Is that...
Everybody needs a tail spinner.
Isn't it the one from the book? The other attachment? Or gear? Look at the other gear.
Does the book have the...
Oh, yeah,
it's got the... Hold on.
Talented tail
Can you
here.
top down there, John?
This art is this art.
The little art here is this. Is there going to be a feather as well? Is there a feather in there?
I see no feather.
Okay. So apparently there was a Stout-Hearted Ranger that came across an Aatrox in the mountains and then went to the observatory.
How cool does a Stout-Hearted Ranger look, though? I feel like that's a moment that never actually happens in real life, but
I feel like I'm going to wear a blue cape at some point like that in my life. And I've got some little hills I could stand on out at my place.
Hills. So Shannon, come bring your camera.
Do you suppose, honestly, with a cape that long, that's it? Is that you really have to bundle that around you to make it not really problematic when you're hiking?
Yeah,
it's probably for when you're really cold.
I know people that would love that.
Or maybe they have like a fan on the back of their ranger armor and just constantly billowing.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. All right. Let's see what else this stack of cards has to offer.
I'm
all about the tail spinner.
Primo.
Whenever I read that, where you write down when they win.
That's primo card.
When I heard the word tail spinner, I literally pictured Tails from Sonic the Hedgehog. I was like, they're gonna be flying. Like I don't know. Tail, but it's tail.
Tail.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
I was like, this is interesting. Anyways, I like this way better.
Actually, you know what? I did too. The first time I was like, what is that? Yeah, but no, it makes sense.
A tail. Tail.
And James Barson's checking the weather every morning to see if it's windy enough to wear my long blue cape.
Oh man. All right. Next up, Quiet as the Night. 1 awareness. It's a moment / tail. Response: when a ranger performs a test, they dodge 1 card. If that ranger has 5 or more fatigue, add this moment back to your hand instead of discarding it.
Wow.
So you kind of want people to have a lot of fatigue.
Yeah, because if they have a lot of fatigue, they make a good story.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying.
I love the art on this next one. It's called Hush Little Critter. 1 awareness. Comes with 4 hums. It's an attachment tail. Look at that. Attached to a bean. Use 1 hum. When the attached bean would ready, it remains exhausted. If its presence is 2 or more, the ranger who played this attachment suffers a fatigue. You also have response. When the attached bean readies, discard this attachment.
So basically just keep humming.
Hush
The
Little
moment you
Critter.
stop humming, it's gone.
Yeah.
So you get basically 4 turns of sending a being to the exhaustion land.
Which could be massive.
Yeah, some of
those beans. I'm picturing humming to some of those beans. It's very funny. They're not all this cute.
But it's hush little creature because if you're hushing big critter, then you suffer fatigue to do it.
Yeah, it's exhausting to hum that loudly and that long.
It's true.
I love this. This reminds me of Monty Python. It's called The Hero Escapes Bravely. He bravely ran away. 2 awareness. It's a moment, an experience, and a tail.
That is
Yeah,
hilarious.
see his shoe and his sock. It's so good. His hat's bouncing. Choose a bean within reach of a ranger. That bean fatigues that ranger. Shuffle that bean into the path deck.
Wow.
That ranger scouts a number of path cards equal to the chosen bean's presence and then draws that card. That is busted. That is so good. Busted in the best way. So
Take fatigue and swap out a bad one for a good one.
and sometimes you want fatigue. Because it's
Sometimes
like,
you want fatigue.
I have my trail mix out. I need something to do with it.
And
Like,
most of the
I don't
time-
know. Eat it.
You want to scout a path card and draw like the friendly stuff from the valley or the interesting stuff you're trying to interact with.
I just imagine if there's like a 4 presence crazy thing, you get to shuffle it in, not have to deal with it. You take 4
You take
fatigue,
4 fatigue.
but then you get to scout 4.
Mm-hmm. Wait a minute, but what about that card that says if you would cancel all the fatigue that you would take? We're combo womboing now, buddy.
Where's that?
I'm gonna tailspin my way to the world's finals.
I think it's this one.
The Song Weave Mantle. You put that thing on, and then you play it. If it's a 5 it doesn't matter.
If you have 5 more fatigue, you prevent all of it. So once you have a bunch of fatigue, if you're going to suffer a bunch more fatigue, you can just cancel it with that.
So just get 5 off the bat by doing 5 presents worth of stuff that you shuffle back in.
and you're off
And
to the
then
races.
forever you just song weave it.
Yeah, the hero escapes bravely.
That's beautiful.
That's a great card.
You suppose the hero in that has the Song Weave Mantle on? Is there any way to know that? That little pattern on the bottom?
It does not look the same.
Okay.
But the mantle like wraps around. It's got the feather looking stuff on the bottom. Just saying. All right. Next up, this is a cool looking card. The Trail Goes Ever On. 1 fitness. It's an attachment and a tail. Attached to a location or feature. It looks cool, right? When you play this attachment on a feature, you may move that feature.
Okay.
Exhaust. After a ranger suffers 1 or more fatigue, add progress to the attached card equal to the number of fatigue suffered plus 1.
Oh man, I love this.
So these tail spinners, it's a new spin on fatigue.
They're kind of willing to go,
We want a lot of fatigue going on, and we want to tell a big tale.
but we also can kind of keep you from getting decked.
Which, if you're the bard of the group, like you want,
we see you.
you want, yeah. Well, you want. They would encourage the people they're with to do crazy things, because that's the stories they get to tell. They aren't necessarily the ones doing the crazy things.
Yep.
They're just singing about them and sharing them. It's like, hey, you do this awesome thing. I'll write about it, and people will know.
Mm-hmm. The flavor is immense. I also like moving features like in front of the other players. Just like, hey,
Deal with this
obstacle.
giant thing now, please. Yeah, I dig it. Man, I love this entire set of cards. The Tail Spinner is the winner for me.
You're gonna be a tail spinner.
Spirits
Speaker?
are cool and all that, but this is what I'm here for. The next card is called the Buck and the Woolhound. I just love it. It's a moment, a tail, and a weapon.
Those what are they? The Wolhund? I thought it was
Wolhund?
Wolfhund.
Woolhound. How do you pronounce
Change the name
that?
of that? No, it's Wolhund. I always said Wolfhund.
There's no F.
Yeah, no, these are different, legally distinct.
TM. Discard progress from a being up to twice its presence. then add an equal number of damage to another being in the same area.
I'm really a big fan of this. I've been looking for more ways to actually just destroy the beings that are
To kill things?
Yeah, causing me problems.
Apparently you can kill them with the tail, so maybe they're
We're
just
not killing
bored out of
them.
their
We're
mind.
it's a light bit of harm. You know, like just a slap, maybe like a get out of here. You know,
With the tail somehow?
so if you want to, if you think about the tail itself, you've got discard progress from a being. So let's say we discard progress from a Sitkado, and then we add an equal number of harm to the wolf hunt that's hunting it.
Mm-hmm.
That would be worth singing about, wouldn't it? Or we could, and a being
dude,
here could be a spirit as well.
That's the real thing. That's the real...
It can also be friendly, like if one of your people you're watching is getting attacked.
Yeah.
You remove progress from the friend to do...
I'm going to throw that harm directly onto the circling Aatrox.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's where it's
like
going.
Up into the sky.
Yeah.
All right, next is Go Forth Fearless Ranger. So this is a moment. It's an experience. It's zero fitness. Expert. That's an objective. Choose a ranger to perform a test, doubling its difficulty. If they succeed, they soothe 2 fatigue. Then record feats equal to the test's original difficulty. You need 9 feats.
I'm also really liking some of these cards that you can just kind of like mess with people. Like if you and I were playing and I'd be like, all right, I'm going to double the difficulty of that test. And you're just like, what are you doing, man?
Well,
and then we'd be like,
You choose the test as well. So it's like, I'm telling you're doing this test and it's double the difficulty. Good luck.
perform a test doubling
telling
its
you,
difficulty. Wow.
You know. This
yeah,
is
go forth, Fearless Ranger. Come on.
In The Witcher, there's a bard.
Mm-hmm.
And he does
I've
stuff
seen
all the
some Witcher,
time
yeah.
to try to get the Witcher into shenanigans.
Now, worth noting, whenever you get 9 feats on here, you reveal this reward card that I guess will not reveal because nobody wants to have any fun. But I'll read it.
They just want to have fun on their own later.
Okay. I see now what it does.
James Parsons comment. Don't worry, man, you got this. And hey, we'll have a really cool story when it's done, eh? Just don't die.
This is an excellent card. It also costs 0. Yeah, this is an excellent card.
I love that.
And the soothing of 2 fatigue. Let's not sleep on that.
Is he imagining himself telling a story around that fire later?
He's listening to them tell the story and writing it down so that he can inspire rangers in the future.
But it looks like him over there.
You're right. You're right.
I don't know. Also, we mentioned Brandon Stannis earlier, but one of my favorite characters, maybe my favorite character in the whole Stormlight Archive, is a bard.
Cool.
Kind of.
Tailspinner?
He's a tail spinner. He's definitely a tail spinner.
Tail spinner.
Every time there's a chapter that comes up with him, one, a tale is going to get told, and two, it's going to give you goosebumps.
I've run across a few tail spinners out in Bristow.
Well, there's good and bad tail spinners, you know what I mean?
Set that well house on fire. We had one of the locals. Apparently, there was a well house.
The Bristow locals.
This is what he said. Now, I always believe about half of it. But
He's a tail spinner, you know? There's a little truth in there, but...
It had been a while. It was a house that had been abandoned for 3 or 4 years. Had a functioning well. And he was going to revitalize it or something. Goes out there, opens the well house, and there's just like a blanket of wasps in there. And he does not like bugs. He's like the toughest guy on earth, and he's just terrified of bugs. So apparently, according to him, he leaves the door open. He shoots the well compressor tank or whatever so that water starts coming out of it. And then he burns the place down.
Yep.
And it's left with only the foundation and the well that is saved because it doesn't melt because it's wet enough.
Interesting.
You know, place your bets. Did that happen?
It's a good story.
Or did he just... Did none of it happen? Or did he just, wait for the wasps, like spray the wasps down? Or did he just wait until winter? I mean, there's a lot of...
It seems a bit extreme.
There's a lot of different ways that could go.
My wife and I both are not fans of bugs, but she hates bugs more than I hate bugs. And we have like a bunch of, like, our house backs up to land and trees, and there's not much of
You got like a little ranch back there. It's weird.
It's nice. I don't have to, it's not my land, but I get the benefit of no neighbors back there. But they're at least the creatures, existing. Because there's not like, it's not actually deep in the neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah, how gross.
But there would be like, I'll send a picture of a spider or something, and her most common retort is, just burn the house down.
Burn the house down, yeah.
No, I wouldn't shoot a gun at a water thing to, that whole thing. Anyways, the Tireless Artisan. I feel like this is an homage to the people creating this game.
Yeah.
Moment, tail, 0 spirit, response. When a ranger rests, they soothe 2 fatigue. If that ranger has 5 or more fatigue, they soothe 4 fatigue instead.
Wow.
You make them do crazy stuff. You write down their tails.
Yeah.
And then you give them all their cards back with their fatigue. And you're like, see, I told you it'd be good.
Mm-hmm. And as the artisan closed her eyes, she understood that everyone must rest from time to time. And she had earned a break. I think this may be a little self-reported.
That's what I was saying. Yeah. I like the idea that, you picture these things. Go forth, fearless ranger. The trail goes ever on. Even the hero escapes bravely. What was that one? The Ranger Chronicles with the stout-hearted ranger up there. I'm just saying all the names so Jonathan's like. But I like the idea of the artisan achieving a feat, right? Because it creating something that took immense effort, and it is an homage to, I think, the people creating this game, etc. Mm-hmm. But like, it's not just the action hero that's being talked about.
Yeah, that's true.
It should be like, this is the,
Yeah, you just stayed back
the
and
inventor,
you made the thing.
The scientist, the creator. I was gonna say Edison, but there's like negative energy around him all the time, isn't there? From just like not.
It's kind of
it's
almost like a pun, though. Negative energy
about Edison.
It's almost a pun.
Because there's like the Tesla coil thing and the Edison light bulb thing, and it's very energy related.
Yeah, the words were in there.
Yeah.
Anyways, last and final card.
Hold on, before we get there.
Ooh,
Corey Christensen says 9 feet. So this was on the last card that we had, 9 feet. So you got to get it to get the reward. How about we find a test that's 9 difficulty and double it to 18?
I've never even seen 18. You couldn't pass an 18
seen it
test
in your life, have you?
That's double digits, man.
18, never.
Chub Frog, I love that the solo Talespinner Ranger is just extremely full of themselves.
Fisher also keeps saying everyone was making that joke about the card, the Take a Rest young designer card or whatever, Tireless Artisan. Well, is it that though? Is that where it came from?
Yeah. What was the inspiration behind this card?
It was just an idea, unrelated to
unrelated.
Being tired.
All right, final card real quick. The Strength of Will. It's a moment and a tail, 1 focus.
Will Kelton?
Got him. Response. When a ranger resolves an effect that scouts and or draws cards from their deck, they do so from the fatigue stack instead. Then, if that ranger has 5 or more fatigue, return this moment to your hand.
This is a great one. Dude, if I have a 3 focus ranger, which I do, and then I do a remember test and I draw 1 card and I can instead draw it from my fatigue stack, you know what is important about that?
Well, and scout. I
also have that card that puts things from your discard back on top of your fatigue stack. Paths we roam before. And so then if I pass we've roamed before, followed by a remember test, I can get the 1 card and know that I can then do the...
Powerful, yeah.
That is really, really impressive.
So I would rate this 5 out of 5 tails. And this is probably my favorite background, period.
So far in like the game?
In the whole game, yeah. Very excited about this one. It just sounds fun. I like the idea of... so I'm playing in a 4-player group from like the main campaign that I'm doing, not on camera. And some of those cards just so appealing. Like, one, writing down their crazy successes, but then also getting them to do crazy things.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
Like, if this expansion came out and I was midway through a campaign, I would consider just swapping in a new specialty or background. And just being like, I had a revelation. I'm a bard now. Like, I just want to start writing. You know how like that happens in your life where it's like, I just am going to start journaling and telling stories. I want to be good at that now. And it's like, okay. It's like, now you're a Talespinner.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, one thing is, you can obviously do whatever you want in this game, but...
When you're at your house or when
if you get 15 days into a campaign and then something comes out and you want to do something different, it's like, you get to make a new character.
You could.
Like
And just throw them in. Yeah,
that's
true.
what I'm saying. The
Swap
story
them
can
in.
keep going,
Yeah.
and it's doesn't have to be just a singular character that you're playing. There's you can do whatever you want. 'Cause
Yeah.
I will say, my goal is to get to day 30, whatever that means. Someone earlier, who was it saying? Nick Harrison saying that he's
Andrew
completed.
Harrison.
Andrew Harrison.
Yeah.
Nick Harrison was the player.
Was it Nick? I could have sworn it was Andrew.
That was in the back of my brain. Anyways, I don't
Nick
know.
Harrison is in the back of the brain.
I think that is
The Martian Menace?
The Martian Menace, yeah. But I lost my train of thought now.
Yeah, it's because this
Getting
hilarious joke saying Steve is going to have a mid-campaign crisis. Just hilarious. You know what? I'm into motorcycles now. Okay, I'm just going to be the motorcycle guy.
I've always wanted to be the motorcycle guy.
Oh man. So I think this is about a 9.2 out of 10 on Board Game Geek.
Oh my god. There's nothing wrong with a ranking system, but it's so funny how that was just. I immediately had bile in my mouth.
Is this expansion S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier?
I saw there's a new Fab set coming out this week. Yeah, and all the tier lists always come out. It's like, here's where the heroes are and stuff. But I saw a really funny tweet which is like, if you have more than 2 heroes in your S tier, it's not the S tier, it's just tier 1.
Yeah. See, they solved this in this is Spinal Tap. It's like,
This one
just
goes
make
to 11.
A tier the top, like it's always been, and then the best is in the A tier. You don't need some random S tier. I didn't even
tier
know what it
1.
meant.
Really,
Well, they have A, B, C, D, E,
it's fine.
or A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a number of incredible systems.
Why do we need a tier
for
above
organizing
the system?
tiered information? Right?
S tier is this goes to 11. It's
That's
like, but why not just have it go to 10? He's like, yeah, but this one goes to 11.
This one goes to 11.
Uh,
What do we got? We've got Frank Levy. Forager is still my favorite. You got to keep those plants in line. Just ask Ashes players. Listen, there's a card in the Forager set, the new card in the Forager set, that is tied to a reward. That is, so far, in the entire set, the coolest card that I've seen to date.
and we're going to talk about that next week.
Yes, but we're also going to talk about something right now that I find to be really exciting, which is the Illumination Mechanic in the Legacy of the Ancestors campaign that was written about in Developer Journal number 3, I think, of the campaign, 3 or 4.
You're deep in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to experience it, you know?
They're playing with this concept of having light, because we're underground, right?
This is like torches and torchbearer?
Yeah, kinda. It's kind of more like it's like the second level of Pokemon, you know? How the first level, effectively, you're going through the bug forest, and it's all the bug catchers, and then you're like, if I never see another Weedle, it'll be great.
Yeah.
And then
Rattata.
And then you go from there into the cave, where you hit the Geodes and the Geodudes and all that. And the what? The Zubat, and the occasionally you try to find the Onyx, you know? Try to find that Onyx. Always.
What a that's a special experience, man. OG Pokemon as a kid.
Yeah, it's the best.
Exploration and discovery, right?
It comes back. Are things getting worse? Or is it just not special because it's Pokemon 82 now?
Well, I'm gonna leave that one there.
Yeah.
We talked about that on Monday.
So anyway, Andrew has expressly said that they're going to trace the progression of the Pokemon Game Boy game, Red and Blue, in Earthborne expansions.
Makes sense, yeah.
So next
Gotta
they'll go to
catch
the
'em all.
sea, you know, they'll go to Misty's gym and all of that, and etc. He said
So
that
normal valley stuff.
explicitly.
Now we're going underground.
I just
Eventually,
want to get it on the record.
sea.
He said that completely
No,
accurately to me.
This is set in far future Earth,
Far future Earth.
where humans eventually get together, solve problems, and make the world a sustainable, better place.
Yeah, so it was like going bad, which feels a little familiar. And then humans were like, we made these machines and kind of figured out the power of science and organic understanding. And then they set all of that loose to solve the problem and then kind of disappeared themselves. Or I don't know, there may be a cataclysmic kind of thing where a few survived. Anyway, they were, in my mind, like kind of ferreted away into caves and stuff for a great many, many years. And then they emerge and they're like, it worked. Everything's fixed by these bio machines.
Do we have confirmation on whereabouts geographically this tale is happening?
The inspiration is the Rocky
confirmation?
Mountains.
Okay.
It's Rocky Mountain
I
area.
thought that was true. I just didn't know if that was
Because
public.
Andrew had the vision for the game while hiking in the Rockies.
There it is. So it makes
he was
sense.
Spirit speaking.
You know, we start in the valley, go underground, and then you go to the mountains, and then past the mountains would be the ocean.
in some direction.
We got to get to the ocean. Yeah, go west of the ocean.
But then
and the plains?
Who all's out there? And what are they doing?
If we get into like ship stuff, where because you can do the boat down the river thing, which I still haven't figured out how. But
Can we boat across the ocean? It's like roll a d20, and on this result, you die.
I mean,
It's
what
a
if
dangerous world out there?
what if the map?
Also, how much of the geography we know is even there anymore?
What if the third or fourth map
Sea level and stuff.
actually connects with the original map?
It's like the
By a
water
big boat.
island stuff in Mario on the map, you know?
Yeah, there's like one big path going from here, and then it's like get out the first map. If you take this path, and it has like a deep ocean path deck, and you've got to do like weird pirate adventures, and then you get over to the
Maybe
original.
that's why I was so comfortable saying I know where the end of this is going, because there's actually so much that it's like maybe he's got a decade of runway out there.
Anyway, since you're underground, you get this thing called illumination. And then if you have things with illumination in the same zone as other things, they are considered illuminated. And that has impacts on the game, on the challenge effects. And it says if illuminated X or if illuminated Y. And certain beings are probably going to say if illuminated. So illumination is a key word that is going to matter in Legacy of the Ancestors.
And the things that do the illuminating, are they like a flashlight or are they more like a torch?
So like it's more like a flashlight or like weird tech that you might find that needs to be powered up by batteries, and you can power it up and then it creates illumination, and then you can illuminate stuff, and then it now is like maybe lower presence, or maybe it has new effects or this kind of stuff. J.K. Rowling's imagine the megafauna living in the ocean in this world. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. We don't know what's out there.
That's crazy. I mean, you could have a 25, 80, 30, 50, 60 card path deck in the deep ocean, and half of it is just like buried treasure, and you could just find rewards out there.
I feel like we're somehow turning this into a deep sea pirate exploration treasure hunting game, which would also be
It's all just tests.
awesome. I love pirate theme.
Yeah, I do too.
Treasure hunting, that whole thing.
Mm-hmm. It represents kind of freedom, and a little bit of like kind of just, I don't know,
Fun.
sinking into the worst of your vices in a lot of ways.
I mean, it doesn't have to be that. Technically, pirate is a loaded word, but
It doesn't have to be that, I guess. Yeah, we remember all the stories of like the morally upright pirates.
Yeah, like Captain James Hook.
Kelster, this is a great comment. S tier is needed because Doctor Strange is in Marvel Champions.
That's tier 1. It's tier 1. I will die on this hill.
S stands for strange.
Strange tier.
Both Andrew Navarre and Andrew Fisher definitely confirming the Pokemon idea.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
Mm-hmm.
You got to catch them all.
LOL and the 3 dots are.
When do we get to, start earning badges? Are there badges Ranger badges to be earned,
Well, I mean, you get your Boy Scouts, you give away the badges.
That's what I'm saying.
It does seem like it's almost like a reward card could be a badge. And
then
you could collect them all.
Yeah. You could have, 8 loosely.
They do have
one for each region.
The achievements on their website are badge based.
They are badge based. And if you had a little like, we already saw the decks.
Have we?
Is that in here?
Have we had an adversary randomly show up and talk smack to us, and then keep showing up at really bad times right before you walk into a gym?
Dude, like the next expansion is just it's like a Earthborne Dex, and it has 150 logs on it, and it's like every time you find a new creature.
Here's your Ranger Dex.
James Parsons says this: I miss discovering things honestly.
As opposed to dishonestly?
I think that's what's lost in gaming, video or card. Newfangled young people on their internet ruining everything.
You talk about WoW all the time being like, I hit a button and I'm level 70 with all my stuff instead of having to earn it.
I do talk about that a lot. For someone who hasn't played World of Warcraft in a long time, I talk about it a lot. Yeah. Although I did have a little stint there with Robert for a couple of months.
You talk about it enough that I can say that sentence having never experienced it myself.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Totally Random Studios bringing a nice perspective. Things are getting easier for sure, which in turn does make the experience less special for me in video games. Or perhaps I'm just too good at them.
Which is, experience can make things easier.
Mastery can make things boring.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
why playing Sorcery with Zach is such a bore at this point.
Oh, I see what you did there. I'm going to school right now.
Yeah, you're going to get like weird good.
I don't know if that's true. I want to be respectably good.
I just want to do that 3x dodge roll deck that Jonathan's been trying to get on the table.
I just want to win. That's not true. I want to win under a certain set of rules, you know. Don't kill anybody, etc.
J.K. Lawlings, how they'd have to have evolved or been engineered to deal with all the pollution we put into it. Yeah, so I think the idea is like they made machines and infused them with biology.
Machines and creatures.
And so you have technology and then the evolutionary mechanic of biology that is starting to biomeld.
Speaking of biomeld, the first like chip went into a brain the other day. Officially, did you see that?
Is that an Elon thing?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I have no comment about that at all. I think it's very clear how I feel about that.
I think that's the we are officially old people hill we're going to die on.
Dude, if I'm sitting down to play a game like EARTHBORNE Rangers, I'm not getting the chip in my brain. I think that's a 1-to-1.
I would consider getting the chip.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple of places where we diverge heavily.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly excited about the idea, but I'm open to the possibility.
I would have to be very excited to get my head opened up.
My grandpa being like, why would I ever want to carry a phone around?
Yeah. Well,
He was right.
He was right. It's bad. It's very bad for all of us.
Why would I ever want to always be reachable?
He was right.
Yeah.
He was right.
But here we all are with phones, you know what I mean?
So what, just like the arms race of, well, you know, everybody said all this stuff was bad and it turned out to be true. It can also be true for the brain chip. It's like it's going to be true for the brain chip too. All of the meaning of life is being sucked away into nothingness and we're just all like, yeah, sign me up.
I mean,
take the phone, destroy it. All of them.
Just because you have a brain chip, it doesn't mean you're going to lose meaning.
Zach Bunn, brain chip apologist.
I'm not arguing for it. I'm just saying I'm open to the concept of like.
Colin's got a good take here though.
Okay.
It's to help people with paralysis. That makes sense. I'd do it for that.
See?
Yeah. But if it's like to check my email, I'm not going to get a brain chip.
I'm just picturing.
Or brain mail, I guess.
I don't know. I can see that going a lot of ways. It's one thing. It reminds me of even technology today where it's like, if we're going to go a little less loaded of a topic. When you talk about like games, tabletop games that have technology involved, even like the Altered Kickstarter right now is happening. Have the QR code. That's a different conversation that I won't go into specifically. But my actual, not even taste-wise, like is it okay to have it on the front of the card? Does this ruin the aesthetic and the appeal? For me, it's sort of like I just don't really have value for scanning these cards. Like there is some amount of like, well, you can get replacements and you can play on the app and stuff, but it's like in my take on a card game, I would much rather just like have my physical things, and if I want the digital thing, either it's free or I'll pay $10 a month, and I just have all the stuff online. Because even with Warhammer Champions, which I think it did the whole scan the card.
Yeah.
In an aesthetically pleasing way. It may not be as efficient or as good at scanning as the QR codes are. But like, it was cool kind of conceptually, but on some level I would have rather just paid $5 or $10 a month and had all the cards. And not had to do any of the scanning business.
Yeah. That's the way to do it.
Anyways, but there is a point where technology would be too involved in a game. And then I would lose interest in that experience because the whole point. Same with the brain chip where it's like, it's almost like if you wore glasses that made your entire reality augmented. Like there's an element of that where it's like, I don't really want.
It's too much.
Yeah. But at the same time, if I had glasses with certain capabilities that I can use that are helpful, that's not just like
X-ray glasses.
I just mean like, as an example, let's say I've got, I wear contacts, so wearing glasses is not a far stretch for me.
Yeah.
But the other day, like this weekend, there's a weird thing going on in my wife's car. I had to fix it. And it's like, I can imagine the ability to have those on while I'm looking at the engine of the car that I know nothing about. And it's like guiding me through what I need to do to fix this thing.
Yeah.
and it's like pointing to this thing, that'd be very helpful.
Yeah.
Versus like never seeing reality again because I just have a thing on my face and it's
Yeah.
like, anyways.
It would be helpful, and it would, of course, remove the human pursuit of mastery of anything tangible.
I really don't care about mastery.
Everything's just a how-to manual for the material world. You know what else is weird? That they do this palm scanning in Amazon Whole Foods now. Have you guys seen this?
What?
It was at the register. You can have
Does
it.
it tell you your future?
You can have it where you could scan your palm instead of paying. I mean, the money has to happen. So, but it recognizes you from your palm.
Yeah.
And it ties to your Amazon account, which has
sure.
a payment method on file.
I mean, I do that all the time on my Apple devices. Like I have a fingerprint thing on my laptop. that
Yeah.
I pay instead of loading up my card.
And you know what I was thinking that whole time was like, it's really not a problem for me to get out my card. So
I
stop.
When I'm buying stuff on my computer, I would way rather do this than have to type out all my card information. I could do it.
Yeah, but it's like
Now Amazon having my
what
palm
are you
imprint-
getting though? What are you getting? 1.5 a microsecond? Do we really need the micro for what?
Yeah.
I mean, cash. Okay, maybe you're saving like a minute because somebody's got to count the cash and get the change. Now I'm gonna put the change somewhere. It's like, it's
Well,
great time.
I think what you're gaining is security. Like,
Put that on a billboard in Android, would you?
well, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, no, trust us.
no, that's not
trust
saying.
us.
I'm saying it's like any ID verification, where like when Apple knows my fingerprint, and I trust Apple, which I might regret saying that.
Until you don't.
They have my card information stored, and so like me not having to physically get my card out means someone can't look over my shoulder and see it or take a picture of it. Me not typing
Wouldn't
it
happen.
into a computer means that someone that's hacked into the system
But
can't.
you are typing it into a computer.
No,
it's
I'm
just
putting my
Apple's
fingerprint
computer.
and it's loading it, and it's never on the screen.
Yeah, but it's there already.
I don't know, man.
Like it's like this whole
Same
my.
thing.
You see this My Chart thing in Tulsa?
What?
My Chart. This whole they run it through. The whole
I like that
medical
we got
system
here,
is
by the
run
way.
on My Chart. The whole medical system is run on My Chart. So it's where it stores all of your information, makes it really convenient.
Easy.
Because you can check in online and you don't have to verify your ID and all of that. Well, guess what, Zach? The whole thing got hacked to pieces. And everybody got everything stolen. And you know what happened? Nothing.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, sorry, y'all. Still got to use the system because it's the only game in town. And everything's messed up. And 6 months from now, we're going to restore the system. You got to reset your password. Hope that your social security number didn't matter. You know?
Yeah.
So that's why you don't put the palm or the fingerprint or anything else. That's my property.
Yeah. It's going to be a weird time, man. Brain chips, the AI stuff has been coming out.
Yeah.
It's really wild.
So final thoughts?
Great.
Final thoughts.
This
man.
looks great. If you want the Corsair, the card doubler, buy it on our website or back the Game Found. If you want all the stuff, it's all in. Look at the Game Found. This is a company and a game worth supporting and worth playing. I'm loving it so far. I'm excited to keep playing the campaign, and I will be playing Talespinner at some point. But I got to get through 30 days with my current thing before I get there.
Yeah. Special thanks to all of you guys at EARTHBORNE Studios.
Yeah, and a special thanks to everyone who listens to these conversations.
You guys are crushing it. You guys are doing a great job. It's such a pleasure to be a part of it, and even to be just to be involved. This is a dream for all of us because it's a game worth having and worth supporting and worth playing. So thank y'all. Thanks everybody that's doing all of those things, and we'll see you next time, next Wednesday. Catch us in a week.
And on Monday.
And on Monday, you can find us there as well. It won't be as EARTHBORNE focused, but next week on Wednesday, another EARTHBORNE stream. We'll look at the rest of the cards of the player expansion, and we'll see you there. Take care.